something that I'm going to bring up in a bit because.
Are you going to bring your knob up?
Yeah, well, I'm going to bring my knob up. Yeah,
very early in the night, Steve, to bring your knob up.
I want to talk about knobs in a little while. I've got it on my crib list because there's something that happened today on YouTube, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Mickey, are you still alive?
I am. I'm still here. Yes, still alive. Yep.
Okay, good. Well,
Mickey, what have you been doing the last couple of days? You had to leave a little bit early on our stream on Monday. Are you feeling better?
I just it's a bit of my breathing difficulty. Like I say, I think I said to you earlier, I made myself a cup of tea, sat in the garden for an hour. But I think because I was having trouble with my breathing, I was panicking about trouble with my breathing, which was making my breathing even worse.
Yes. Yeah, no, Andrew's very much like that in the sense that he'll have the breathing problem and then he'll start getting panicky and then he gets lightheaded, so he starts breathing more and
I think that's probably where I was going, but yeah.
No, it's good. It's good that you've got a garden to sit quietly in and sort of just meditate and take a moment. So
I don't think that troughing down all them sweets helped a lot.
Blood sugar as well.
Yeah, I ate 3/4 of the bag of them, and they were covered in sugar. So.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
So have you been up to anything like yesterday and today?
No, I've been stuck in the house. To be fair, I haven't been anywhere. Just been doing a bit of tidying up, cleaning. I do the cooking because the other half is at work, so.
And then she has to watch her soaps when she gets in. You can't miss the soaps. So
I just went to the loo and had to wake her up, poor thing. But she's on her feet from. She leaves the house at about 20 to 8. Doesn't get home till 5:45.
Oh, it's terrible. And what happened to the 9 to 5? The 8-hour day.
Exactly.
It's terrible. Yeah. Not pension age yet, then.
She's not. She got another 10 years. 10 years younger than me.
Oh, see. So she got herself a sugar daddy.
Until I retire, now I've got myself a sugar mummy, I think.
Oh.
I've got two videos of the actual DaVinci Resolve screen and one of me sitting behind a green screen. I need to put the two together and then do the chroma keying, which I haven't done. Plus I need to add a music bed, plus I need to do the title, which I started. I just finished doing the title actually just before it came out. In After Effects, but I
can see all the question marks coming out of Mickey's head there. He hasn't got a bloody clue.
That's fine, Mickey.
Must be at chroma key.
Yeah, chroma key.
I've been on chroma Pia, but
I made this a few years ago, and I haven't worn it since. And I was going through my wardrobe tonight, thinking, what shall I wear? Sort of shake it up because I like wearing something different. So the streams look different. When you watch back on the streams and when you're watching the streams, they all look different. I don't want to be wearing the same thing every time. And I like bright colours. And one of the things that I like about the American flag, so basically, I thought I'll wear this. And one of the things I like about the American flag is because it's bright, and I like the fact that it's red, white, and blue. That's the colours of the Union flag, the UK flag. And it's just interesting. I really like it. It gives a bit of splash of colour in the sea of black. Tell us some history, Steve, about the American flag.
Only 50 stars on an American flag.
Is there? Oh yes, the 50 contiguous states, because Alaska and Hawaii aren't contiguous states, are they?
Yeah. There are 50 stars, although there are 52 American states. Yeah.
All right, yeah, because
it's a bit of useless information, but there you go.
No, but that's good. Do you know why the stripes are however many stripes? Or why are the stripes the stripes?
I did, but I can't remember. Not without my auntie Google.
No, you need to go to Wiki Mickey.
No.
Yeah, don't go to Wikipedia, Mickey.
Oh dear, no.
They'll tell you something completely different.
That's why he needs to go to Wiki Mickey, not Wikipedia.
Yeah. My dot hasn't arrived yet.
Your what hasn't arrived?
My dot.
Oh, hasn't it?
No.
Oh.
I can't nig him twice for that.
Oh. I'm sorry, mate, but I'd already left an egg by now.
Oh no, I want the dot to arrive. If I leave the egg, you may not send the dot.
Yes, Tracey, speak.
Andrew, can I give you a bit of advice, right? As a man of the world, right? Can I give you advice? When you address a woman with an order like that, always finish the sentence with "I have spoken." Right? I promise you, it works. Tracey, speak. I have spoken.
I honestly thought that was going to be when you see you need to end it with please. I have spoken.
And I should hope, and Bungee Spongy for bovines. Oh, BSE says, Steve, that mic sounds far more superior. I should hope it should do, and it's a 300 quid microphone. My friend, you're American, aren't you? Yes. We were talking about the Tracey's got the Old Glory on her breast there. We were talking about that earlier. You're American. I know what the stars stand for. The stars are for the 50 contiguous United States or inland United States. What are the stripes for? Do you happen to know by any chance? Bungee Spongy Form has spent 100 bits, which means we've got to hydrate. We've got to take drinks, all of us. Seriously, got to hydrate. So there we go. Look, that's the power of interactive thing. We've got to hydrate because he's spent 100 bits. I've finished my water now. The first one I want to talk about is Magaluf. Tracey? Oh
no, that's not one I've heard of. No, that's not a story that I've heard today.
You don't go to. Oh look, we've all got a stretch. Look. All these people. There we go. Right. Okay.
Oh, thank you, Mickey.
Thank you, Mickey. Yeah.
You're welcome.
That should have come up. That should have come up with a sound telling me that. Right. Thank you, Mickey. I needed to stretch. Yeah. You wait. I'm going to put one on 1,000 there, which is take a dump.
So
right.
Magaluf
is a resort.
Walking around there, talking to some youngsters, actually.
But for our American viewers, Magaluf is a resort on the Balearic Island of Mallorca, Spanish island. It's a resort, and the resort is famous for one thing. It's where people under the age of 28 go to get completely drunk out of their face and puke up in the middle of the road everywhere, or try to get laid and can't because they've got brewer's droop, because they've got so drunk and puked up everywhere. It's very much a young person's place, and there's an area of Magaluf called the Strip, which has just got shops either side and discos and bars, and the whole Spanish resort is catered to drunk Brits abroad. Well, over the last 2 years, the Spanish police and Spanish government have been trying to change Magaluf, and they don't want this drunken behaviour over there, so they've come in with some ridiculous laws. I mean, last year they changed it. You can't walk about on the street in a bikini. Not that I've ever walked about in the street in a bikini, but women can't walk about the street in a bikini, and I believe that men now have to cover their chests when they're walking about the street.
Oh, thank God for that.
That was last year, and then they brought in some other rules that in the resorts around Magaluf, in the hotels, a lot of people choose Magaluf in the hotels because it's all inclusive, which means you can drink as many drinks as you want. But they've changed the rules in Magaluf. Each hotel that you stay at, you can only have 6 drinks per day free, which is 2 alcoholic drinks with each meal. Now, who drinks alcohol with breakfast? I don't know. And things like that. Well, they've brought in a lot more rules now that you can't sell alcohol after dark, I believe, for a lot of places.
Yeah, in the shops. Yeah, in the shops.
Yeah, and they've actually brought in other ones, and this one I don't understand. I really don't understand that a lot of the bars have been told to stop objectifying women. And I really don't understand that, but that's been in the news today, so I just wondered what your thoughts were. Now, Tracey's an international world traveller, who I believe the furthest she's ever been is Wandsworth.
How much was the flight there, Trace?
Yeah, I know. No, the furthest I've ever been was actually Scotland, or the other direction, Jersey. But I was a baby when I was. Oh no, I went to Boulogne, and I was about 11. So, but
you went where?
Boulogne.
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 France.
Oh,
yeah.
the place that stinks of fish. Yeah.
I got there, and we were supposed to be going there with the school to practice our French, and everybody spoke English.
Yeah, so, it stinks stinks of fish, Blowing does.
But what I think about the Magaluf thing, right? Now objectifying women thing, that's never going to stop. But I think as long as it's the way that it's done. If there's a group of blokes going, "Whoa, love, fancy a shag," that can be really intimidating for a woman on her own. And so in that respect, I agree with any rules that come in that please, don't think that a woman is there for your entertainment. So in that respect, I agree. But there is a fine line between objectifying, as in, a group of guys admiring a woman and saying, "Oh, look, she doesn't she look sexy," and then getting to the point where you're just intimidating her and she's upset and and they just carry on because it's hilarious.
Well, like I say, I've been to Mallorca, but we were up in the north end. But we did go down there one evening for a show, and be honest, I was appalled. There's people falling over, and bear in mind, this was 6:30, 7 o'clock in the evening when we got there. We went down there for a show, and there were people falling over and puking in the streets at that time. Absolutely appalling. In fact, the day that we arrived, a girl had fallen off a balcony and died. She'd only been there 3 hours, but I blame a lot of this on the tour operators who do these pub crawls and all that sort of stuff, organised pub crawls, and then you get these booze cruises where I'm out on the boat and things like that. And but as for the objectifying of women, I think what they're trying to get away from is the pole dancing and the stuff like that is what they mean by objectifying women. Is they want to put a stop to the pole dancing and that sort of thing.
They want to get away from the blatant sexualisation of women, like the pole dancing and things like that. They also have been banned for doing things like no more happy hour cocktails.
Yeah, no more special,
no more special deals for women, because it used to be in a nightclub that if you were a pet, women would get in free.
Yeah.
But they've been ordered to stop doing that. So it is a major crackdown that's going on there in Magaluf, and it's one of these things, right? That it's because people haven't been able to police themselves. The authorities are used to doing it. It's one of the great tragic stories of society that society is quite unable to police itself, and it keeps proving this time again, because they've been saying for about 5 years now, either you sort your behaviour out when you come to Magaluf, or we'll sort it out for you. Of course, nobody took any notice. Nobody changed their behaviour, so now the Spanish government is having to sort it out.
I think it's a bit little too late, if you know what I mean. It's something they should have stepped on a few years back, because they only knew, and especially since the lockdowns and people have been going, I think people are actually drinking more and what have you. Not only just over there, but everywhere.
Well, they did try, Mickey. They did say, you need to control this. You stop coming over here and doing this. Whenever I go there, I've actually stayed in a place quite close to Magaluf. I stayed in a place called Campistilia, which, by the way, is Spanish for with cake. By the way, got to let you know. A place called Campistilia, which is about 1 kilometre away from La Palma Airport. And that makes it about 5 to 6 kilometres away from Magaluf. And I've been to Magaluf twice. I drove through there once in the daytime, and during the daytime it looks like and then I drove there through once in the night time. I just turned around and come away and thought, oh my God, you're like animals.
Yeah. Can I just go because I didn't realise that what it was meant by the objectification, the sexual objectification. You know what I mean? The objectification of women. And I don't have a problem with lap dancing clubs. If it's pole dancing club, lap dancing club. You see, but coming to my mind, I don't have a problem with any of that.
They have those too, Trace. Lap dancing clubs as well.
Yeah, As long as it's in a licensed, properly run premises that is that has the rules and regulations and chucks people out when they're too drunk and everything like that, like a properly run establishment, I've got absolutely no problem. Okay, if there's backstreet bars that are doing it, you know, off the cuff, illegally or whatever, then no. I mean, that's not good. But I've not got a problem if someone wants to go and look at some ladies pole dancing or stripping or whatever.
The thing is, they get these young girls in these pole dancing clubs, and then they try and get them on the poles, if you know what I mean, which is then objectifying them.
Yes.
Then you got a load of
then you
got a load of pissed up little idiots who think it's okay to touch because she's been dancing on a pole.
Yeah. See, that's
not okay. No. You don't touch anybody without their permission.
Yeah. Now, I totally agree. Whether it's the professional,
diabolical.
Yeah. Whether it's the professionally paid pole dancers or whether it's the people that have been dragged up from the floor, there should be no touching. Yeah. This is what I'm saying. There should be no touching, and there should be like boundaries where people cannot get up on the stage, and it shouldn't be allowed to have anybody coming up on the stage, male or female, where to even to muck about or anything like that. It should be anybody gets up on the stage, show stops. Don't care that you've paid an entrance fee. Show stops, finished, go home. So yeah, totally agree with that. See, look, I went on a rant there.
Good.
So you've been on a rant, have you? Can I just tell you, right? If you've been looking at my Facebook, right, I was told under no circumstances must I mention Emma J. Under no circumstances am I going to mention her. Right? He said, under no circumstances must I mention her. Not on my live stream, so I'm not. She will not be mentioned at all. I have no idea who we're talking about.
Don't put a last name.
No.
Sorry, Tracy?
Yeah, best not mention her.
I'm not going to mention
him. Her. I don't know. I mean, who are we talking about?
Well, yeah. Let's not assume gender. Mickey, sorry, what were you saying about... So your impression of Magaluf is roughly the same as mine, but then I've always been mature. I sort of went from toddler to adult. I missed out on drunk teenager.
Well, yeah, I spent my teens and early 20s in the army anyway, so I didn't do all that sort of shit. But I mean, it's an embarrassment. Even if I was young, I'd be saying it's an embarrassment to the British people. They are totally embarrassing. I mean, I something totally not related to that, but just before we came on, I was reading an article where there's a guy on a plane back from Paphos, I think it was, trying to open the doors on the plane. I don't know if you saw it. Trying to open the doors. They had to land in Croatia and take him off, but apparently the stewardesses were hiding in their little cubby hole, and he was subdued by the passengers. Can I just say, Steve, a minute?
Oh, go for it.
Well, I saw a little clip that apparently the M25 has been flooded. Have you had rain down your direction?
Well, that's debatable, because my weather forecast, I've got a weather forecasting app on PC, and throughout the day it's been saying raining now, raining to stop, and it's set for my local area. But it hasn't rained here at all today. But it's rained in central London, and it's rained on parts of the M25. But it sort of missed me. But then where I am, I'm high up. I'm 87 metres above sea level. That's one of the high points in South London. But I'm in a dip, which is on the side of a hill, and it creates something called an urban heat island, which gives it its own microclimate, which normally makes me about 2 degrees warmer than everywhere else around me. And I think that microclimate has something to do with the reason we haven't had rain here. And I've been expecting it all day because the humidity, nightmare. Hope it breaks.
Yeah, it's terrible here. It's terrible.
Yeah, same. They forecast
still
it
at 19 degrees here.
Yeah, 21.
That's outside.
Yeah.
96 degrees. What's that, you old fart? I mean, this is the 21st century.
68.
What's that?
What, 19 degrees centigrade is 68
Oh, I thought you
Fahrenheit.
said 90. I thought you said 90. I thought, what?
19.
24 outside at the moment here.
No, 19.
Yeah.
They forecast that it was going to be really hard rain yesterday for my area, really hard rain, and loads of thunderstorms. And it rained a bit in the morning, and then nothing all day. And then today it was supposed to be thunderstorms and heavy rain. And I was looking out the window until about 5 or 6 o'clock, going, well, where is it? Because it was blue skies, and then all of a sudden the rain came over, and it literally tipped down like it was vertical rain. And I took some photos and things of it because it was just unbelievable the way that it was coming down so heavy and so thick. You know, you couldn't see past the edge of the street. So, but that didn't last very long. And now it's gone back to being muggy again. So
we had rain for about, well, it weren't even rain. It was just a few spots for about 5 minutes yesterday, when they were actually forecasting we should have had thunderstorms. But it seemed to have washed out down the south then of the country, your end, down your area, all the rain. But I mean, really, we do need rain up here for the farms. I mean, they're looking absolutely terrible, the fields at the minute. And like we said the other day, they just can't get the crops in.
Who redeemed the word ban?
I'm not saying anything.
Well, whoever redeemed the word ban, it would be great if you told me what word you want banned.
I did underneath it.
I can't see it. Oh, poo, you want the word... Oh, you want the word poo banned, right? Okay, sorted.
I didn't know what that meant. Okay.
That's what you're spending your coins on, your Woody's rewards on.
I don't normally like boring people with my dreams, but the one that I had last night during my 14-hour sleep was bizarre. And it was about you guys, so I'll make it quick.
Now I'm worried.
No. It wasn't rude either. No, I dreamt that for some reason Steve couldn't do the show, so I said I'll do it, and like it was as easy as that, you know. And what I decided to do was to put cameras in every single room of my house, for some reason, for this stream. And what actually happened was, instead of me and you chatting, Mickey, everybody on the stream in the rooms that I wasn't in could see ghosts. So I woke up absolutely bloody freaked out, going, "Oh my God, I'm haunted!" So that was, I mean, obviously the dream was longer, so I wasn't, but that's the too long didn't read version. It was just like, because in the dream, in my mind, like in the dream, obviously, like, you know, when you dream and it's like watching something. So my mind was going, oh, that's a really good idea, actually. But then it got to the bit where they found, like, everybody was just in the chat stream going, there's a ghost there, and I can see a ghost there. And then my mind was like, no, that's not a good idea at all.
The other story that is a bit of a tragedy, actually, the 87-year-old disabled guy on the mobility scooter that was killed in Greenford today. Tracey.
Terrible. That was one of the things that I wrote down. I saw that, 87-year-old on his mobility scooter. And you see the pictures of him. He's clearly not an active, healthy 87-year-old. So he's on a mobility scooter, and he was stabbed to death in West London by an eyewitness said that it was a group of youths that surrounded him. However, the picture that they've released of the guy that they want, who probably actually did the stabbing, looked like he's in his 30s or 40s. Now, whatever you think, or whatever, you know, what on earth would an 87-year-old man be in any way antagonistic towards a group of youths? And whatever he did do, why couldn't they have just gone, yeah, old man, and walk away? You know what I mean? Like, he might just like, we're bastards or something going down the road.
Also linked to that, I mean, it's not the same thing, because I mean, I did see the story about that, absolutely atrocious. But I don't know if you saw this, I think it was Birmingham, where people have been taunting an 87-year-old pensioner in his home for months.
Oh my God.
There was a little video on the ITV News website of things, a little video of him. He went out to challenge two of them. They came back masked and attacked him.
Oh, why?
Later on, a bunch of 9. Now, some of the parents know who they are and went round and apologised.
Oh,
Now, instead of apologising, why aren't you sorting your kids out?
no, yeah, exactly.
You know, it's the same thing. It seems as the whole country is going that way. But like you say, I saw the photograph of that guy that they want in relation, and like you say, he looked to me as if he was in 30s, mid 30s.
Yeah,
I'd say.
he wasn't a youth.
He
He
certainly
wasn't.
He
wasn't
doesn't
one.
look like a child to me. I've got to be
No.
honest as well. He does.
Although the story said he was surrounded by youths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that guy certainly wasn't a youth. So whether he was surrounded by youths and this guy decided, oh, he'd, you know,
Yeah.
join in, I don't know. We'll probably never know. But I mean, it's a good picture of his face, and hopefully somebody will ring the police and tell him who it is.
Clear. That was really a really good clear.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, maybe he was surrounded by youths, like you say, and someone decided to stick a knife in, someone who was pissed off with him for some reason or something.
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean that. You see a bunch of kids having an altercation, some people think, oh yeah, I'll go join in with that, and
yeah, well, yeah, but
you know,
also, I mean, he could have been part of the gang.
Yeah.
Could have been like, because the thing is, we think of gang leaders as being like maybe an older youth. But a lot of the time, when it's drugs related, a lot of the time it's older people, and they run the show, which is why the younger people dance to their tune, because they're the elders, they're the older ones, they're the ones that can really sort of mess you up. Oh, thinking of Boaty, actually, I was browsing his his channel, because I'll be going through his videos and watching some of the ones that aren't so car focused, and I caught one that had one of your graphics, moving graphics at the beginning.
Who? Sorry.
About the windscreen wipers, was it?
I can still see. No, it's all right. Don't worry. I've just realised. Oh, Mickey's a ghost at the top there.
You meant? Oh yeah, he's ghosting at the top there. That shouldn't be happening either. Oh, that's
really
unusual. Yeah.
Actually, Steve, that's quite good, because you can't actually see what he's doing.
That relates to your dream.
Yeah.
That's strange.
That's because you've been fiddling with overlays and stuff, but I really like that, because you can't see what he's doing particularly, but he's still there like God, omnipresent, ghostly, woo, and he's got the scary ghostly steam and smoke.
Yeah. Huh. Oh, that's something else I'm gonna have to work out. Right. Whose Facebook are you going through, Tracey?
Jason's. I was looking.
Oh, Boaties, yeah.
And I only look at the ones that look particularly interesting or funny. And I came across one where it had your moving graphic at the beginning. It like the car.
Is it the car in the tunnel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was very impressed. I really liked it. It was almost like a snazzy version of Top Gear or something like that. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's meant to be. It's meant to be. This whole channel, as you know, is a complete piss take, and that is what it's meant to be, a complete piss take out of Top Gear and things like that. So that is exactly what it was meant to be.
I'm a bit OCD like that. I go back to, when I find a channel, I go right back to the beginning, and I start from the beginning and start watching the ones that catch my eye. And so I'm up to where it changed about a month ago or something, 6 weeks or so. And I was like, oh, that must, bloody hell. It's all right. I've just realised it's adverts on Twitch. I thought you'd done something with the backing. Okay. But yeah, I was impressed with it. I was just, I know you're good at doing the graphics anyway, but I'm just saying that it was like, I was looking at it and thinking, how has Jason gone, like, upgraded so quickly from what he had to, and then I realised, because it was yours, so
it was mine. Yeah. That sort of gave it away that I'd been there. That sort of gave it away, didn't it? It's like I told you in chat today. I am a genius with motion graphics, so is why I can produce things like that very quickly. But yeah, the whole idea was a Mickey take of Top Gear and things like that. I can fade him back in again now. Let's make him ghostly, shall we? There we go. Look.
Ooh.
How about that?
There
Is
you
that
go.
ghostly enough for you, Mickey?
That's better, yes.
Is that ghostly enough? Is
I
that
always
ghostly
said I
enough?
was transparent.
There is a reason. There is a reason why the three of us are like that. But I'll temporarily place him in one of the seats. But it won't work for what we're actually doing. But I'll temporarily place him in one of the seats. Just we'll put him at the table. We'll put him at the table. There he goes at the table. The reason for that being is that it's a complicated thing, Arctic, right? Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook are in landscape format, which is when you hold your phone, it's that way round. Whereas Facebook Reels and TikTok are portrait format, which is that way round. I can convert landscape, which is what we are now, into portrait, but you need to divide the screen into three, because when you do the conversion, you will lose part of the screen. You'll lose it on the left or you'll lose it on the right. So that's why I've got the three of us stacked up like that. But I put Mickey in a chair now, so it's not a problem. When I convert this, when I convert from here into TikTok, I will try and include Mickey in the chair if I can. It's gonna make it a bit difficult, but we'll try it anyway. So there you go. There's Mickey in the chair. How does that look, Arctic Toast? Hopefully that looks right. Yes. Where were we? Mickey, how do you feel about being in the chair?
Oh, it's a lot better down here. Pity you haven't got a high chair, though. Perhaps, you know. I'm only short, after all.
I like Mickey being god of us all, though. Because then he can tell us how diabolical we're all being.
I can make Mickey in the high chair. There we go. Look. There we go. Mickey's in the high chair. Okay. I can make him in the high chair. Oh, there we go.
Oh, my word.
That's scary, that is. That's really scary.
We can make him in the high chair, but I'll put him back in the seat there. But that's going to cause problems when I go to clip this TikTok. So that's going to be fun. No, you can't, Tracey. You can't. There we go. Right. There we go. Mickey's back in the high chair. There we go. Tracey, go on.
Oh. I've got one that I saw, I think it was yesterday, but it was still rumbling today. Scotland has appointed their first period dignity officer.
The what?
Period dignity officer.
What the effing hell is that?
Basically, Scotland's the first country, I don't know whether it's just in Britain or in Europe or whatever, who's going to be giving, trying to eradicate period poverty, which basically a lot of girls cannot afford, or the family cannot afford to buy sanitary products.
I thought period as in the 18th century. Gotcha, right, because I'm not a girl, I don't, right, gotcha, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry,
No,
sorry.
No, that's all right.
Why didn't you just say on the rag?
Because that's disgusting. It's
Okay.
it's an old term. A lot of young women, teenagers at school and children cannot afford to buy. The family cannot afford to buy the sanitary towels and things, and the schools can't afford to or haven't been able to afford to supplement. Because of the cost. But now Scotland has eradicated that by basically being able to, they've got this initiative where schools and other places can give free sanitary products to, I don't know what the age range is, but, children, basically, children who have periods. So the big hoo-ha on Twitter, and, let's discuss this. Scotland has appointed their first, because there wasn't one before this initiative, period dignity officer. So basically it's a guy who's going to, it's a person who's going to be able to explain to children and young women about periods. And the big hoo-ha is that it's a man. So this man is going to be mansplaining periods, menstruation. See, look, you're not taking it seriously either. The menopause, everything to do with periods to young girls. And the hoo-ha is, half of the hoo-ha is, why should a man do it? He doesn't know about periods. You know, he's not lived through periods. And we're talking a man who's never been a woman. So we're not talking about a transsexual man who has had periods. So on the one hand, it's this, and on the other hand, it's yes, but it's equality, and a man should be able to explain periods to young women. But my thing also, as a woman myself, is that when I was a teenager, there is no way on this earth I would have spoken to a strange man, however well known I knew him through school or whatever. There's no way I would have spoken to a man about my periods. You know, if
I see. Have a look at what Arctic Toast has just said. Have a look at what Arctic Toast has just. I mean, I must admit, it's not a conversation that I can really take part in. It's a very feminine subject.
But this is what I'm saying, Steve. You know your experience through having daughters, wives, sisters, mother, female friends, you know, and stuff like that, and also biology lessons, whatever. That's your, you know, you've got it through your education. You can't talk about it through a lived experience. But this is a man who was born a boy and grew up a man, and he'll have exactly the same experience as you. So you're saying that you can't really talk about it because not, you know, it's not your level, your area.
I didn't say I'm not talk about it. I said I can't relate to it. But have you seen what Arctic Toast has said?
I don't know if it's the same thing that Artistic Toast is talking about, but I remember reading an article quite a while back of an American teacher. He was male, and he had a supply of sanitary products in a cupboard, so that his students, if they should need them, could go and help themselves. Well, a teacher next year was a woman in her 60s, and she kicked up such a fuss and was calling him a pervert and everything else for supplying these poor kids with sanitary products that they need. And I find that disgusting.
Yeah. See, now that's wrong. Yeah, that's wrong. But you know, I'm glad that the male teacher had the initiative to do that.
Yeah.
You know, but he wasn't. The thing with that is that he wasn't appointed a period dignity officer to have to go around. No. He didn't make the girls have to talk to him. It was just like, look, there's a supply there if you need it. Help yourself. Artistic Toast said that there's a guy that tried to do that in his country, and he provided supplies to remote villages all over the country, and he made alternative supplies himself and now has an entire company, so that's really good. So that's this. I was disagreeing with the fact that there's a man that's been appointed as a period dignity officer, because I think that if this person has got to educate people about periods and things, then I don't see how a man could do it. However, I'm really, really happy that there are men out there who recognise that there is period poverty in young women, you know, in villages and things like that, because the alternative is free bleeding, which is as gross as it sounds. And which can mean that a lot of women be ostracised, and women can't go to school. Girls can't go to school when this is happening because it's humiliating. And it also means that girls can't get an education if they can't get to school, and so periods are literally holding them back. So I have no problem with a guy supplying sanitary supplies to people at all. Gole said, why they assign a man for this subject instead of a woman? That's exactly what I was saying. We have no idea. Twitter, if you look up a period dignity officer on Twitter, you'll see all the arguments of people for and against. Scotland is a first world country. We shouldn't really be having to supply sanitary towels to people. But this is how it is. But when you get to third world countries and India and places of real poverty, and that it really does hold people back. It holds women back. It's another way of holding women down, and so good for the men who realise that. and actually supply. So I have no problem with that at all. Yeah,
Control of your sphincter muscle.
that's very international.
Well, it is international because people need to do this. I mean, I'm sorry to keep mentioning it, but those that know, I've got cancer and I'm on chemotherapy. And one thing chemotherapy teaches you is control of your sphincter muscle. The only reason I mention this because somebody who I will remain completely and totally nameless has been making clips of this channel, right? Okay? I will not mention who it is that's been doing it, right? Because that would embarrass them. Yeah, we won't mention it, will we, Mickey? Right?
No,
Who it
not
is.
at all. Not
And
at
she's
all.
only made clips of every time I've discussed farts.
Farting is
So,
international.
on TikTok, right, all people are concerned about is the fact that I discuss farts. Well, it got me thinking today, right, that being on chemotherapy, it gives me absolutely incredible sphincter. Why does it give me incredible sphincter control? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I have to take one of these 3 times a week. This is called azithromycin, and it's an antibiotic. I have to take some of these 3 times.
Are they suppositories?
No, they're not suppository, Nicky. That's a sexual
where it's going
deviation
wrong.
we won't go into.
Sorry,
And
I thought that
these
was
are
a
called
control grip.
cotrimoxoli, right? I take these on a Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and I take these on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now, what have they got to do with sphincter control? Well, I'll tell you what they've got to do with sphincter control. They destroy their antibiotics. They destroy bacteria. They destroy good and bad bacteria, including the stuff in your gut that sort of firms things up and keeps things firm. So I've got sort of constant diarrhea, which gives me absolutely fantastic sphincter control. Because when I'm out and about and I feel like farting, I can never be 100% sure it's a fart. Especially when I've got shorts on. Right now, if you think you're going to fart when you've got diarrhea and you get it wrong, this is a nightmare. This heat, I've been wearing shorts. So I've learned sphincter control. And what I do is I actually learn to squeeze it out a tiny little bit at a time. You know, like the neck of a balloon, right? Like the neck of a balloon, right? And you just get the air out, but leave the liquid behind, right? And then once you've done that, once you squeeze the air out, let the fart out, right, which is really smelly, as we discussed, you then retain the liquid, and then you've got a dash for the toilet, right? And that's why I've got fantastic sphincter. I thought I'd mention that.
Farting just crosses the oceans. Well, Steve's do because they stink, but it spans the oceans and brings us all together. So, yeah. Golay says that's a really expert description. Yep, Steve knows his shit.
I see what you did there, Tracey.
Yeah, exactly, Andrew. You never trust them. Exactly. Arctic Toast says you never trust farts. Well, I can't, and that's why I've had to learn absolute sphincter control. I kid you not, guys. You try it. You try wearing shorts when you've got diarrhea. And go out around your local supermarket wearing shorts when you got diarrhea. You learn sphincter control.
Otherwise, you end up with shoes filled.
and then the funny walk. And I'll tell you what the worst bit is, right? The worst bit is, right? And this happened in my local Sainsbury's a couple of months back. I'm still allowed in there, but the worst bit is, right, that in my local Sainsbury's, I've actually got a disabled toilet. They're a community toilet. Well, that happened, right? I did the old sphincter control and let the air out, and the liquid was jamming up and backing up behind there. So I did the funny sphincter squeezing walk to the toilet, opened up the toilet door, ran out the toilet, dropped my shorts and sat on the toilet and just, right, and it all flowed out. And I thought, thank God I can't be embarrassed anymore. Then I looked at the toilet roll. It was empty. There's only one thing I could do. There's only one thing I could do. I was wearing boxers. I took the boxes off and I used those and washed them down the toilet and on. Yeah, because normally you've got time to check if the toilet rolls in the toilet roll holder, but I didn't have any time to check. I couldn't. Why some cultures consider farting in public is not allowed and others think it's okay? Tracey, any opinions?
I think it's just cultures and you know, like it's just different cultures. I think. I know that burping would have been seen as a sign of politeness, that you've enjoyed a good meal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, you know, the higher society, that kind of got ruled out and it's seen as disgusting. So I can understand why, personally, I can understand why farting is seen as rude, because they stink and you're sitting there eating a nice meal and it won't have got down to your bottom that quickly. So if you're farting like this morning's or yesterday's smelly air out. So I can understand why that is disgusting, because it's going to put you off your food. It doesn't smell like food when it comes out, but when you burp, when you're eating or drinking something, I don't think personally, I don't think it's particularly rude, unless you make a big bloody deal about it, you know, like, and spread your burp breath across the table, you know, yeah, so, but that doesn't really answer the question, does it? Some cultures...
No, it doesn't. You're waffling. You're wibbling.
It is a cultural thing, like you say. After a meal, some people, it's acceptable to burp. Now, me, after I've had a good meal, I like a good fart myself. Damn the rest of the tables.
I like a good shit.
Well, yeah. But yeah, it's just an appreciation of good food, I think.
Altic Toast says farts and burps are the same thing, but different places. I think actually they originate pretty much in the same place. They just come out at different ends. But
well, my burps don't smell like my farts. Trust me.
No, not burps. Burps come from the stomach and the upper intestine, but once it gets past a certain sphincter, back to the sphincters again. I think that we have a few. It's at least 3.
The sphincter's the end.
No, in our body we have more than the sphincter is at the end, the anus, but in the body you've got a sphincter between your stomach and your small intestine, and then there's another one somewhere along the way. There's at least one more, because otherwise it would come back up again, like back into the stomach.
It's probably not called a sphincter, though.
No, it is. No, it is. According to QI, it is. It literally is a sphincter, which acts like an anus.
Right, okay. You can say arse.
No, it's anus, because arse is the rest of it.
Chocolate starfish.
Arse, yeah, arse is all of it, but the anus is that one bit right at the end, the last sphincter.
You can say rusty sheriff's badge.
Yeah.
You can say starfish.
Marmite
starfish.
Chocolate starfish. Anyway.
You can say potting the brown.
Burps come from that bit, and then once it gets further down, the farts don't come back up again unless you've got some disease or you've got a loose sphincter that lets it come back up again. Because some people do.
Back to Steve's shit now, aren't we, loose sphincters?
Do you think, Mickey, that her fascination with fart? She claimed it was quite accidental that she clipped those farts. But do you hear her expertise, Mickey?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think she's been studying this. Did you take a degree in biological wind or something?
What?
Fartology.
I think I should. I could become a doctor, couldn't I? Dr. Tracey Greenwood, expert in farts.
Well, we've got pimple poppers and things, so I mean,
fart. I tell you where my fart thing came from. Thinking of it was my little brother. He was fascinated with the young ones, and I like the young ones as well. But my brother, at 2 or 3 years old, was absolutely fascinated, and obviously they did farts and things, and that progressed onto bottom, and that progressed on, and everything was like fart jokes and stuff. And my brother was always, when he was a kid, always into fart jokes and fart this and fart that. So it's always been a fart thing. And it's only been in my adulthood that I've learned about where farts originate and come from and stuff like this. And like I said, farts are universal. You wait, I'll get these fart clips up on my TikTok.
See, she said it again. She said it again, Mickey.
Fart. Yeah. Farty, fart, and fart. Poop, blow off. To end that, I was going to say that because I said that there is a point where farts don't, farts go downwards, air goes downwards, and But some people do have a condition. I think it's quite uncommon, but there are some people who have a condition where the farts can actually come upwards, and they're literally burp farts, and that must be horrendous. The poor people, joking aside, that must be horrendous to be able to taste your own farts, and then other people can smell, because it comes out as a burp, and other people can smell it. That must be terrible. But generally, farts are hilarious because they make funny noises and they make disgusting smells. And my God, Steve's face when he smelled his own fart the other day was just, I could barely clip the stuff up today. That sounds disgusting. I could barely clip the stream up today for laughing so much at the faces he was making. Oh, that's disgusting. So, Golay says it depends. You can fart between your friends and family, but like in public, it's politeness. Yeah, that's very much how
Similar to here. Yeah.
Huh?
Similar to what here then, basically.
Yeah, I would say so. But mind you, my mum and my dad never cared about that. Like both of them farted, whether they were in public or polite company even. My mum would be like, oh, yes, just farting like this, and I'd be sitting there going, oh, we're at a funeral, mother. Stuff like that. She really didn't. And my dad was the same, like proper big windy guffs, and so yeah, I think farting between friends and family and not doing it in public to be polite, it sounds about normal.
The biggest mistake I ever made when I first met my wife was, it must have been after about
You said
6,
hello.
9 months.
You said hello.
6, 9 months. I said to her, I've never heard you fart. And I hadn't heard. That was the worst mistake of my life.
Yeah.
That.
Now you can't shut her up.
Exactly that. Oh, that was, yeah. She said, no, well, I used to hold it in because I didn't think it was ladylike. I said, you got to let it out, girl. You got to let it out. Oh, Christ.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Mickey, right? I've learned, after 2 failed marriages, I've learned something, right? I've learned that a woman says fine. When a woman says fine, she means it's not okay.
Yes.
It took me 2 marriages to work out that, can I do that yet? Fine. Oh, good, fine. I can do that, yeah. Fine or okay, or do what you want.
Do what you want, yeah.
Doesn't mean that at all.
And another one. It's up to you.
Yeah.
I'll get that all the time. It's up to you. You're trying to discuss things. It's up to you. No, I'm trying to ask you. Well, what's the point of me saying? Because you'll only do what you want in the end anyway.
And do you know what the killer one is? Right, the killer one is whatever.
Yeah.
You sit there thinking, what the hell does that mean? When your partner says whatever, you think, oh my God.
Yeah, it means no.
Everything means no to you women, doesn't it?
And then the quiet, the silence. Oh dear me.
No, neither of my ex-wives did silence.
No, I didn't. I don't either.
No, Tracey doesn't do so. You're lucky there, Mickey.
Then,
do you finish sentences with "I have spoken"?
Yeah.
If I said that to her, I'd be picking myself up off the floor, I think.
I did that the other day. We were at the bus stop.
I
did that the other day. We were at the bus stop waiting for a bus, and I've got 2 buses that can get me home. A single-decker one, which stops almost right outside my house, or a double-decker one, which stops about a quarter of a mile up the road. And I've got a little quarter of a mile. I'm in my wheelchair, of course. So I looked at the bus stop. It said the single-decker one was due in 6 minutes. The double-decker one was due in 7 minutes. With the wheelchair, it's a bit difficult for me to get into single-decker buses, so I prefer the double-decker one. So I said to the missus, I said, you go home on the single-decker and you get home before me so you can get things done, and I'll go on the double-decker. And then I looked at her and I said, I have spoken. She spent 2.5 days laughing at me.
I'm surprised you didn't slash your wheelchair tyres, mate.
Oh, she just spent 2.5 days laughing at me. And when I mentioned it on Facebook, she came on Facebook and laughed at me.
Carried on laughing at you.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that was about. I gave her a direct order and reinforced the fact it was an order. I finished the sentence with, I have spoken. That really, rams it home that you're giving a direct order. And she just laughed at me. And she spent 2.5 days laughing.
Oh, good for her. Good for her.
Yeah, I'd have been picking myself up off the floor, I think.
Yeah, anyway, carry on with your lifetime.
No, look, let me just say, my dad used to end things like in a jokey way. He wasn't like, well, but in a jokey way, he would like give an order, and then he'd say, "Daddy has spoken," and we would all just piss ourselves laughing. So that's why I can't take a man seriously. If he ever said that to me, I would just laugh my head off. Anyway, was it Mickey we were talking to? Sorry.
Yes, Mickey. Yeah, carry on with your advice for a happy marriage here. Your advice so far we've worked out.
Marriage, it was.
Yeah, get your wife to fart a lot.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah. Just just don't say, "Oh, I haven't heard you fart," because you'll never hear the end of it. So it's the long and short of it.
Right. It just reminds me of something that happened a few years back. I don't know whether you guys know that from the age of 17 up until I was 52, 10 years ago now, I passed my motorcycle test at 17, and up until I was 52, throughout my adult life, I've always had motorbikes, and I've always had big, powerful motorbikes. But I gave them up. I gave them up when I became ill, because I had my last boat was a Suzuki Bandit 1200. And after I was diagnosed with cancer, I started to have a lot of problems. I started to lose my strength, and getting it on and off the hand became a nightmare. So I gave up motorcycling in the end. But when I was going out with Sean, going steady with Sean, he lived in Bristol and I lived up here. I'd go down on my motorbike because it was a lot cheaper than going down in the car. No, I didn't have the car at the time, because when my wife left, I took the car with her, so I was just left my motorbike. And so I started to go down to Bristol to see Sean. And I went down there one and she was just casually talking, and she said to me, I said something on TV was about something happening about somebody going 135 miles an hour on a motorbike. And she looked at me and said, "I've never been 135 miles on a bike." I put that right that day.
Get on about, yeah.
Yeah.
I worked in a motorcycle shop for 12 years, Steve.
All right.
Yeah. So we got to ride quite a few then. But it weren't till, I'll be honest, I gave up when we had the kids, because it was either a car or a bike at the time. So
yeah.
I hadn't had one for a few years now.
Right.
The most I ever did was, I think it was about 120 on the back of a Thunder Race Yamaha.
This was on the back of my. This was on the back of It's on the back of my Suzuki. No, it wasn't. Kawasaki 1300. And it was on the road between Bristol and Bath, and I just opened it up, and I had to slow it down because I felt her jabbing me in the back and screaming at me down. But I looked down at the speedometer, and I was doing 135, and I thought, "Whoops!"
I was on the way to Box Hill.
Oh right, okay.
One of those straight roads on the way to Box Hill. Or was I on the way to Brighton? One of the two, anyway. And that was good. That's the fastest I've ever been, and it was good at the time, but it shit me up when I got off the bike and realised how fast we'd been. Because he said, "Do you realise how fast you went?" And I was like, "No." And he said, "120." I was like, "Oh." And God, I wouldn't want to do that now, but it's done. It's been there. Yeah, it was 1,000 cc's. The Thunder Race was Yamaha. It was the one preceding the posh R1s that are out now. And it had a much bigger pillion seat, so my big fat ass could sit on it. It wasn't as big then, but
I never knew you worked at a motorbike shop, Mickey. Do you know much about motorbikes?
Well, until we got into all this fuel injection shit, yeah.
Well, that was my favourite motorbike. I had a Hayabusa.
Oh, beautiful thing.
Yeah. It got stolen, bastards.
There's one for sale up here, actually.
Hey?
Or there was the other day. There was one for sale on Facebook the other day in Hayabusa up here. I think they wanted about $7,000 for it now.
Oh, I bought mine brand new. It was 11,000 when I bought it. That's got to be 20 years ago. It was probably the most expensive motorbike on the market, but it was, without a doubt, the fastest motorbike built.
But you got to remember when I worked in the bike shop was well back in the 80s, and GSXR Suzukis were then new. We were a Suzuki dealership,
Oh,
but they were
sexy.
They were new then. I mean, GSXRs were new out when I was working there. So before that, we had all the old 2-stroke Suzukis, and the I think that's the worst bike I ever ridden. Was an RG 500, which is a square 4 Suzuki 2-stroke, basically a race bike with lights, and that scared the crap out of me. That really did.
I had a GT 380, which 2-stroke.
Oh, triple. I love them things. Love them things.
All my bikes, apart from one Yamaha and one Kawasaki, have been Suzuki. Even when I was learning, when I was 16, I had a Fizzy, and that got wrecked in an accident. Oh, I wasn't even.
I love my Fizzy.
I replaced that with a Suzuki AB50.
Christ.
Well, it went faster. It had one more gear.
Yeah. But I loved my my Fizzy had the pedals.
Yeah.
The later ones didn't have pedals.
Oh, remind me, what is Fizzy short for?
Yamaha FS1E.
Yamaha FS1E.
Oh, right. Yeah, because Yamaha, I'd always heard the Yami.
It was a moped, yeah. The Yamaha FS1E.
It's 42 miles an hour.
Yeah. You thought you was God doing that speed. Yeah. I actually got mine to do 60, Steve. Mine could do 60.
I never modified mine. I've never modified any of the bikes that I've had. And like I say, my favourite was the Hayabusa. I absolutely love that bike, Mickey, but it got stolen. I couldn't believe it got stolen. Oh. I used to chain it up outside my house. Didn't have a garage. I used to chain it up. I had a brick wall outside my house that had holes in the bricks. And I'll put the chain through the bricks on the bike. And I come down one morning and my missus said, my missus at the time said, "Did you park your bike outside the house?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, it's gone and so's the wall."
Oh my God.
They'd obviously just dismantled the wall to take the bike away with the chain on it. But B463 VBK was the registration number, I think. But I've never seen it since. The insurance paid out, but because I'd had to claim, I couldn't get another Hayabusa because the insurance would have been through the roof. So I had a Katana. I went for a Katana instead.
I'm going to the toilet.
Which is just as bad, really.
Motorbikes.
Sorry, Mickey?
I said, they're a good bike. The Katana was a good bike.
It was a good bike, but it wasn't a Hayabusa.
Round here, I mean, I don't know, well, not particularly, but there were people going about stealing bikes, but they had a van, but they'd open the back door, and what they do, there's no floor there, and they'd reverse over your bike, and I don't know how they did it, whether they just ratcheted it up or what, and then shut the doors and drive off.
Okay.
Yeah, no floor in the van in the middle. So, like I say, what they did with it, how they managed to drag it away, I don't know, but that's what they used to do. Yeah, just shut the doors and drive off.
Grant Shapps is talking about bringing in legislation. It's never going to happen. Talking about bringing in legislation, right? That cyclists have got to have number plates and pay tax and insurance. Did you read about that?
I did read about it, and well, I'm not sure about the number plates because I mean, how can you tell a 6-year-old they've got to have a number plate? But well, exactly. I do believe that they should be insured, Steve.
Yeah, well, I
do believe.
As you know, I've got. Insurance. I don't know whether you know that I've got a cycle. I actually go cycling.
Yeah, and you have insurance.
Yeah, for pedal bikes, for pedal bikes. I've actually got an electric bike, and mine is fully insured. And as it's my name that's on the council tax bill, I actually pay tax. Because it's actually a council tax that pays for the roads, not this thing called road tax, which they keep quoting.
It's road tax. It's VED.
Road tax was phased out in 1932. So he wants to introduce identification for cyclists, compulsory insurance. Did you read that, Tracy?
I saw it in passing. It wasn't something that I read completely, but I saw it in passing, and I'm not sure that I have a full opinion on it.
You're going to wibble. If you've got no opinion, you're going to wibble, aren't you?
I think.
No. I was going to say my initial thought is that it's not so much a good idea because the whole idea is to be able to get onto a bike and go riding, and it's not motorized or anything like that. But then would compulsory registration and things like this be good? I don't know, and that's where I'm going to leave my opinion alone.
In case you wibble,
I think this all stems back. I mean, I don't know if you remember where a cyclist killed a woman and only got 3 years. So I think they want to change the law so that cyclist penalties are more in line with car drivers. And I think that's
anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think you're right, Mickey. I think that's what it's about.
Bovine spongy forms says maybe it'll stop them going through the red lights if ID were introduced. And yeah, I think that's what Mickey was touching on.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was introduced, so I'm going to agree with that as part of my opinion. That they do need to stop going through red lights. There is nothing in the highway code that says if there's nothing around, you can go through a red light and when the green man's showing. The amount of times I've been closely missed by a bike, that not that I haven't seen them, that they've come out of nowhere. I'm crossing the road and they have the audacity to go ringy, 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 ring, and it's like I'm crossing the road on a green man. You're the one going through a fucking red light. So yes, I agree. And JD25 says cyclists are a nightmare around where I live. They cycle in groups of around 15. My gosh, whereabouts do you live?
we get a lot of that round here as well, Trace. Road racers, well, they think they're road racers, but yeah, they go around in their Lycra and their little helmets.
Oh,
I wouldn't say as many as 15, but certainly 6 to 10.
And the thing is, they can't cycle usually as fast as the cars, so the cars all get backed up. You know, you're on a road that has got a speed limit or a, you know, what the limit, the speed that you're supposed to be doing.
Which is another thing with cyclists. They haven't got to stick to, well, they don't stick to the speed limits. If there's a 20 mile an hour speed limit and they can, if they're capable of pedalling at 30 and 40,
yeah,
then they'll be pedaling at that, and there's no penalty for them for doing that.
Yeah,
because they've got nothing on their bicycles to tell them what speed they're doing. You can put a speedo on there, but most of them don't have them.
Yeah.
Which is another thing I think he wants to bring in, is to make sure that they do stick to speed limits, and the only way you can do that is by having a speedometer fitted. Which is where he comes back. And then you need to identify that person riding that bike, which is why he wants to put a number plate on the back.
Yeah.
But how could you put it on a 6-year-old's bike?
And then I guess what popped into my mind then was maybe like GPS trackers and things like that. But then you're going to get people saying, "Oh, human rights," and I don't want to be tracked and everything. Well, they've got a mobile phone in their pocket that is tracking them. So,
do you remember? I mean, I don't know if they had it when you were at school. Cycling proficiency.
Yes.
They used to call it. Surely they should bring that back into schools. I don't know what you think about that, but I'm certainly all for bringing cycling proficiency back to schools, which teaches them how to.
I was going to say I wouldn't be, and I've never been averse to somebody, rather than being able to just go and buy a bicycle and ride it then, I wouldn't be averse to somebody having to take a proficiency test or do a course and take a test, even if it's a one-day thing or, you know, up to over days, you know, short, you know, whatever, shorter things over days, because then at least, you know, like a driving test, but for bikes.
BBS said children at a certain age shouldn't be allowed on the road when riding bikes, and I agree with that. Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially if they've got stabilisers on.
Let me tell you what I saw the other day. It's dual carriageway, both sides, which ends up being a triple carriageway. So they came from the triple carriageway to the dual carriageway, both sides. And it was a mum and 2 kids. She was on her bike. One of the kids was in front of her. Let's say maybe about 8 he was or something. And then the other one was probably about 4 or 5 on a bike beside her. But she was holding onto his handlebars while holding onto her handlebars. There was no stabiliser or anything like that. Now, how is that safe? She doesn't have full control of her bike, and she doesn't have full control of his bike. So how does that? And this is on one of the roads where the bike lanes are shared with the buses. So, sorry, how is this safe? It's not.
It's not now.
Oh, no, I agree.
So, no, I agree with you as well that children under a certain age shouldn't be allowed on the road.
No. Ask me a question then. You've got this electric bike.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you not think that people, not just electric bikes, but ordinary bikes, should have some sort of tuition? I know anybody can ride a bloody bike. Tuition before they should be allowed on the road.
I had. Do you know an electric bike? Right, it's not actually bad on electric. What it does is it
Yeah,
pedal
extra.
assistant. You've still got to pedal them.
Yeah.
Jay Deach asks, "What's everybody's pet hate here?" I'll tell you what my pet hate here is. My pet hate is something I really, really hate. Okay, more than anything else on this planet, I hate motorists that park by drop curbs.
That's
I'm in a
because you can't
wheelchair.
get your wheelchair back,
I'm in a wheelchair, and the only way I can cross the road is at a drop curb. And you get ignorant drivers that will park on a drop curb, meaning I can't cross the road. And sometimes I have to go 300-400 metres before I can find another drop curb to cross the road. That's my personal pet hate. Tracey, what's your personal pet hate?
The one that sprang to mind when I read the question was whistling. I hate whistling. I hate whistling as part of a song. I hate whistling when someone's trying to be cheery. I hate whistling when somebody's trying to cover up that they've just farted. Whistling is just so, it just grinds my gears. It just grinds on my nerves.
Then, Trace.
Say that again.
You don't want to come round here because normally when I'm doing something, a bit of DIY, I'm whistling away to myself. Helps me concentrate, to be fair.
Maybe that's what it is. I just can't. Generally, I can't stand it. I'm sure I've got loads of other pet hates, but that's the one that came. That I can't think of any of them at the moment. You know when it happens and you go, oh, that's a pet hate of mine. But I can't think of them at the moment because I'm in quite a good mood at the moment. But whistling was the one that came to mind. What about you?
I actually misheard you, and I thought you said whistling.
I said whistling.
Oh, sorry. Then I thought you said whispering.
No, whistling.
Okay, all right, whistling. All right, whistling.
No, whistling. Yeah.
Okay. Mickey, your pet hate.
I don't really have a pet hate, to be fair.
Just hate everything.
Yeah, I just don't like anything. Seriously, I don't have a pet hate. Nothing that I could say that I hate above anything else. No. Internet trolls, they fucking irritate the shit out of me, to be fair.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say a pet hate, but no.
I can't stand another one that I've just thought of because I can hear them now. I can't stand it when my neighbours slam their front doors or let their front doors bang at like 4 o'clock in the morning. That's just so rude.
Yeah.
You know.
What you mean there?
It's just because they're heavy. They're heavy doors that are self-closing, and it's just like use the door handle.
Yeah.
Talking about your noisiness with your neighbours, I stayed in a hotel probably 2 or 3 years ago. Went down to visit my brother, and it's similar because the stomping about in people's rooms and that was going on till 2 or 3 in the morning above us, keeping us awake. You got to such a stage that I got my wife up and we came home.
Oh my God.
Because it was that bad. I mean, the place stunk of cannabis. The whole place, considering you're not supposed to smoke. I mean, the worst hotel I ever. But yeah, so no, I don't like that.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, hotels, noisy hotels, I don't like, which is very similar. I mean, because I don't live in a flat, so I couldn't really comment. But I should imagine it's a similar occurrence. People coming pissed along the corridors, banging into the walls and the doors, and knocking things over, and yeah, I should imagine.
Yeah, I know. See, I think I'm very lucky that the guy upstairs is a single guy and he keeps himself to himself. The only thing I have to hear of him is when he plays his guitar, but he doesn't do it at stupid hours, and it's pleasant to listen to. And the people downstairs, they've got older kids, and I think they're all out at work most of the time, so I don't really hear them either. So I'm so lucky. I'm going to touch wood because I don't want either of them to move, because I know that if any of them move, it's going to be a family with young kids. and that'll be me out of here. I'll have to move because I'll just go mad.
We were in a hotel in was it Alanya? Antalya? I can't remember. Anyway, we were in Turkey in this hotel, and there were Russians there, and every meal time they'd be jumping to the front of the queue, and that really did piss me off, to be fair. But to be fair, on the people on the counter, they wouldn't serve them. You know?
Yeah.
We had one come out with a ladle, threatened to bloody knock one of these over the head with his ladle if he didn't get to the back of the queue, which I thought. But I mean, we only ate in that hotel twice because the food was diabolical. But that's beside the point. Yeah, but people queue jumping is an irritant.
Yeah. No, I that's one. Yeah, see, that's brought out another of my pet hates. Yeah, I don't like queue jumping either.
No,
I like to know where I stand, and you know, if we're waiting for a bus, and then you know there is a queue, and I get to a bus stop after two people are waiting there, and I get to the bus stop third. I expect those two people to get on the bus before me. I don't think I've got any right to jump in front of them. These two people, whether they're young, old, male, female, whatever, they have got more right to get on the bus before me because they were here first. That's exactly how I work.
But I mean, I don't know what it's like around yours, but have you noticed that as soon as a bus door opens, everybody tries to get on together?
Oh, certain places, yes.
It's an absolute freaking nightmare. Rather than, you know, it'd be a damn sight quicker if you just let the person in front of you get on first, take the seat and what have you. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's the same with the underground. It's not years since I used the underground, but as soon as the doors open, isn't it? It's one mad rush.
Yeah.
But if you just took your time and one at a time.
Yeah, problem with the underground.
Get there quicker.
The problem with the underground is that they literally have their time slots that they have to close the doors by, and you have to get on there. You have to get on. And
but like I say, it's years since I've been to London. I don't like London. It's too big.
It's years since I've been on the underground, but
too concrete for me. I'm a little country bumpkin, as you know, so I'll stay out here in the country, and you can have your concrete jungle.
No, I'm not. So many people say, "Oh, it's so lovely, cosmopolitan, and everything. Oh, and there's everything there that you want." It's like, yeah, except for the seaside, fresh air, countryside, animals.
Smell of cow shit in the morning.
Yes, I love the smell of cow shit in the morning. Really, I just don't. Honestly, I wake up and what I smell is generally pollution, cars.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can smell the heliport, refueling and things like that. And it's just, and then you get the weird smells that you think, what on earth is that? And you can't place it. You can't place what the smell is. But it could just be like a cloud of pollution that's wafted over that is, from a chemical factory or something. Just like horrible.
Yeah, we're lucky in that respect up here.
Yeah, Bovine Spongiform says, I want the ocean, not this crap. Not this London crap. And yeah, same. It's got to be fresher. I sleep so much better when I'm when I go, I know holidays you generally do anyway, but when I've got fresh air, I sleep so much better.
Yeah.
I'm ready for bed by like 8 o'clock. And I sleep so much better. And then I wake up and I feel like I've had a sleep. Whereas here, it's just, I go to bed and I have asthma. And then I wake up and I'm all clammy. And
see, now the countryside will be good for your asthma.
Yeah.
To get you away from all them carcinogens you keep breathing in and out.
Exactly, yeah. J Beach 25 says, I lived in the New Forest for a bit. The smell of cow pat takes me back.
It's lovely down in New Forest. That's Hampshire, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hampshire, I think. It's lovely down there.
I
don't know if they still got the horses. They used to have little ponies running around there, I think.
Yeah, they do. Rightly. Still got the New Forest ponies. I don't think they Dartmoor them, but both of them have got the ponies.
Yeah.
J Deach says, where's the best place you've ever visited? Mickey?
For me, Kos. The Greek island of Kos. I love the place. I'd go every year if I could. Nothing special about it. It's just that I like the people. I like the village that we stay in. I like the weather. I like the food. The Greek food is absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, for me, Kos in Greece.
Yeah, my dad liked Greek food. He went to, I can't remember exactly where now. Kos was probably one of them. But he went to lots of different Greek islands, and he was talking at one point about going to live over there and open a business over there, but it never happened. But yeah, he did. He did like the Greek islands. So for me, best place I've ever visited. I've got my favourite places, but I think the best place I've ever visited so far, oh gosh, I'm going to say Scotland, Loch Lomond, and I've only ever been to Scotland once, and it totally blew me away. You see how beautiful Scotland is on TV and on photos and that, but actually being there just blew me away. And it feels like I know I've got some Scottish ancestry, and it feels like it's calling me back. So I have other places that I really like on the south coast and things. Like there's a place called Dungeness in Kent. That's one of my favourite places as well. And I love going there. But
isn't that where you got married, Trace?
It was, yes.
Yes, I thought it was.
Yes, got married in the lighthouse there. Right on the point there. It's but so that's one of my favourite places for different reasons to Scotland. But so far it was, and I go back to Dungeness over and over again. I love it, but Scotland was just so different and not how I was expecting. I knew it was going to be lovely, but the actual feeling of being there was like, oh my God, this is just something else. So. So JD said, I've been to the Cairngorms, but never to Loch Lomond. Yeah, so you know what I mean by, isn't that? No, I'm thinking of the Trossachs. I can't remember if Cairngorms a bit further up, aren't they? But you know what I mean by the beauty of Scotland then. And Bovine says, I loved it up Lochmond. Yeah, it was beautiful there. So.
And we know what Steve's favourite is, Steve.
Tenerife, exactly, without a doubt. So Tenerife without that. But not particularly Tenerife itself. But there is a. I'm just answering somebody in chat actually. What we're chatting. The Tenerife on top of Mount Teide. Mount Teide is Spain's highest mountain, which is a bit of a cheek really, because Tenerife isn't actually in Spain. Tenerife is in Africa. But it's a Spanish colony, so it's classed as Spain's highest mountain. And that's where I love. I actually love going there, and I don't think I'm ever going to go there again, which is a shame. A real shame. My health condition won't let me. But I actually like, we go to an all-inclusive resort or hotel, and I leave my partner, lovely woman, I leave her at the bar early in the evening, as soon as the sun goes down. And I get in the hire car and I drive from the beach resort where we are right to the top of Mount Teide as high as I can go in the car, which is about 14,000 feet. It's about 4 kilometres. 14,000 feet, which is really high, way above the clouds, way above the tree line. So the reason I say way above the tree line, that's important, because when the trees stop, so do the animals. You don't get bunny rabbits, you don't get birds, you don't get anything up there. And you're way above light pollution, and because it's -1 up there, you don't get many people up there. You can live up there. There are people that live up there, but it's very, very quiet, and it's very, very peaceful. And more importantly, it's very, very dark, which is why you've got some of the world's best observatory top of Mount Teide. And I like to drive up there in the hire car. It takes about an hour and a half to get to the top. And because the oxygen's so thin up there, hire cars had to struggle a bit, so the engine is not warm. What I tend to do is I tend to get out the car, put on a big coat, go to the front of the car, lay on the bonnet, and just spend an hour and a half up. And oh my God, this never seen. There are so many stars there at the constellation. For those in America, like Jay Deach and Randy and the Randalls, there, the nearest you can get in America to it, I think, is Colorado and the Rockies. When you get to some of the Rockies above 14 feet, you'll understand what I mean. But it is the most beautiful place in the world for me, and I'm a West Ham supporter.
I just wanted to shout in the middle of that. We touched for about 30 seconds we were in double figures.
Oh right, okay.
Have
For about
you
30 seconds.
have you been up on the cable car up there, Steve?
Yes, I have. I've been up on the cable car
we
twice.
didn't. I got as far as that, but Donna didn't want to go up in that. It looked a bit sort of rickety, to say the least.
The cable car, I've been up twice, and the second time I was ordered off the top of the mountain by my partner. She said my lips are going blue and I was struggling breathing.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
she sent me down, so
Yeah.
I had to come down off the cable car.
Yeah.
So I'll never do that. But yeah, to answer your question, Dave Deach, the worst place I've ever been is also one of the best places I've ever been. It's related to cable cars and it's related to mountains. But the worst place I've ever been is also one of the best places I've ever been. The second best place I've ever been, and we're in double figures now, again, 10 viewers. Hello, anybody on Twitch. Look, you got anything to say, ask us. Jay Deach. The worst and the best place I've ever been, or second best place I've ever been, is Cape Town in South Africa. It's got a cable car, and this is a unique cable car. The cable car takes you up Table Mountain. It's called Table Mountain because it's flat. Google it. But the cable car is fantastic because as it goes up, it actually spins in 360 degrees, so you can see all the way around you. But Cape Town's absolutely beautiful. But it's also the worst place I've ever been because you get out into the suburbs and you see the shanty town, see the abject poverty. It makes you want to cry.
Worst place I've ever been is Essex.
I can't really answer where the worst place that I've ever been. Mainly because the worst places I've ever been have been in London. You've got good places in London, you've got dreadful places in London, but then other people would think those dreadful places to me are great. And I'm not going to sit here and call them all out individually because there's little enclaves of, oh my God, that's shit. And then you come out of it like literally 30 seconds later on the bus. And it's like, we're not going to get shot today. But I was sat here while Steve was talking. I was thinking where would be the worst place I've ever been, and I'm sure there is somewhere that I just have looked and gone, no, this just doesn't. There's been places that I've gone, this doesn't appeal to me, but it hasn't been the worst place, you know. So, and again, I'm not very well travelled. I travel so much. I haven't even I'm not even well travelled within Britain, but all my travelling experience has been within Britain. So, Mickey, your worst place?
Told you, Essex.
Oh, and why?
Because Jay Deach told me not to mention Essex.
I like Essex. I can see Essex from here. I like Essex.
No, Essex is quite nice, actually. I'm not a fan of Southend, I'll be honest with you. It's a bit sort of London-centric to me. But no, I'm not a fan of Southend. But no, Essex as a country itself is really nice. You got to remember it's the next one down from where I live, so I can't knock it too much.
Gole says Hong Kong is the best place I've ever been. Have you been to Hong Kong, Steve? I've got a feeling you said you had.
No, I haven't. My partner has.
Oh.
But I haven't. I've never been to Hong
You've
Kong.
been to Egypt, though, ain't you?
No, he hasn't.
No, it's one of the countries I want to be to. I've been to the Far East. I've been to Korea. I've been to Thailand, and I've been to Singapore and Bali. That's in the Far East, but I've never been to. I've never been to Hong Kong.
Goleg's saying it's the worst place he's ever been. Can you tell us why that is?
Yeah.
Goleg, please.
It's a place that I've wanted to go to, but I can't.
I only ever went to Southend once, and it was like where I was living. It was like a blocks day out, and my girls were children then, and so they really appreciated it. And the beach wasn't really the beach because it was still the Thames, so I didn't really appreciate it for that. But at the time, I didn't hate it. It wouldn't have been a place that I'd want to live, but I didn't hate it. It was just okay for a day out.
You'd love our beaches, Tracy. You'd love our beaches up here.
Oh, right. Well, see you soon, Mickey.
I love Southend. I love Southend.
I tell you, I've never been to Suffolk. I've been to Norfolk because my sister being there. I've been there a couple of times, but I haven't actually been to the Norfolk coast. And I know that I wanted to go to Southwold because there's a lighthouse there.
Yeah, well, Southwold is probably 8-10 miles from me.
Yeah. And
it's very posh. People around here are not particularly fond of Southwold people because 90% of the houses now are bought by Londoners.
Oh, that's like that in Cornwall. Yeah.
So what they're trying to do now, because they class them as holiday homes, and now the local council is saying that if they're not occupied for 12 months of the year, they're going to double the council, because they're holiday lets, they don't pay council tax, but they're going to make them pay council tax that anyway. They're exempted percentage, but they're going to make them pay full. But yeah, poor old locals cannot buy a house in Southall because they've been outpriced by Londoners.
Yeah, that's like that in a lot of places. I've heard a lot of places.
But it's pretty, and yeah, they have got a lighthouse. I'm not sure you can go inside it. They've got a little pier as well.
No, it's actually been it's actually sort of a little mission of mine that I want to visit all the lighthouses that I possibly can in Britain.
There's one in Norfolk, Haysborough.
Right.
Or it's spelled Happisburgh.
Oh,
it's
one of those.
Haysborough.
Yeah.
But I can't remember if it was Challengeanica or one of them. They actually went in and repaired it.
Oh.
Which people got up in arms about because they made such a shoddy job of it. They had to do it all again.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, I mean, come on. How long does it take to build a lighthouse and they can repair it in 4 days? You know, it was shoddy and they had to redo it. I'm sure it was one of them Challengeanicas or something like that way back in the day. That's painted red and white stripes.
Oh, right.
Where Southall one is white.
Yeah. And it's one of my missions that I want to go and experience as many of the. I mean, it doesn't even have to go. I don't even have to go inside because I didn't even get to the top of my lighthouse.
Yeah.
I got part way up. Literally, you got the first set of stairs that took you to the floor that I got married on, and then there's another set of stairs that takes you to like the next floor. I couldn't even do that second set of stairs. I got the collywobbles and had to come back down again, like literally sort of pressing myself against the wall. But I do like going into a lighthouse and seeing what's downstairs. But I don't even have to do that, because working lighthouses often don't have stuff like that. But I like the atmosphere of being there because it's a lighthouse is a guiding light and it's a marker and keeps people safe and things like that. So although they're man-made, there's good spirit and good intention behind it.
We've got one here. We got a lighthouse here in Lowestoft.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we've got one here.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. I'm kind of like a spotter's guide to lighthouses, and I need to be ticking them off. I've managed to get to the only lighthouse that is in London, and that's at Trinity Wharf.
Oh, they have one in London, do they?
Yeah, exactly. It's at Trinity Wharf, and that's near the dome.
Yeah.
It basically was where they would test out lighthouse equipment. So it is a lighthouse, but it doesn't actually do a lighthouse job. And there was moored there was a lighthouse, a light boat.
Lightship, they're called.
Lightship, that's it.
Normally painted red. I don't know if
that was it. It was painted red, and I've got it. Oh no, you couldn't go on. But Andrew took some photos of like the portholes and things like this, and it was quite a nice place when we visited. But I don't know what with all the new homes and things going up. I don't know if it's still there. But I was really pleased to be able to visit the only lighthouse in London. So that was that was an achievement. So yeah, I'd like to go around and. When I plan days out, or if we're on holiday, I like to try to find where there is a lighthouse and visit that lighthouse. So
yeah, they used to put lightships on sandbars and places like that, I believe.
Yeah, there's also
rocks. Would you like to go out to visit a lightship?
I quite like it, yes, and I'd quite like to visit there's one off of Cornwall, off of Land's End.
Yeah.
Then there's one even further, but I wouldn't want to.
That's
do
the Eddystone Lighthouse, isn't it?
Yeah, I've taken photos of that. So I've almost visited that one, so I can cross that one off. But I managed to get photos of it because we went to Land's End and you could see it. But I think they're taking it down now. But there's one called Trinity Lighthouse. It's just off of Eastbourne, just off there, and it's literally a platform with like a little light on it.
All right.
And they did do trips out to that, little boat trips out to that, but I've got a feeling it's been decommissioned and is about to be taken down. So I may have missed the boat on that, literally. But yeah, stuff like that. It's interesting to me, and also it adds in that it's not just going for a boat ride; it's going for a boat ride for a reason. And I like doing things for a reason.
Yeah.
Like double things. So.
I've never been to Cornwall.
No?
Nope. Never been to Cornwall.
Yeah, I've been twice.
Some place I want to go.
Yeah.
But, this is the honest truth, we looked at going there last year because of how flights were restricted last year or the year before.
Good night, Golay. Nice to have had you here.
Night, mate.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care. Yeah, we looked at going there.
Saturday.
It was actually cheaper to fly abroad than it was to have a stay in Cornwall.
Yeah.
So off we went abroad instead.
Yeah, that's what happened when I was little. We had holidays. Well, we had It's the opposite, actually. Sorry, we had holidays to Butlins in Clacton in the 70s.
Yeah.
Now that's when the package holidays came about, and so all my friends were going off to Spain.
Goodbye.
Yeah, we went to Clacton Butlins, and while my dad or my family were spending £500 on a week in Butlins, my friends were going to Spain for 200 quid package holidays all in. And I never, ever could work out why we were going to Butlins.
Yeah.
And I think it was because my mum didn't want to fly. My mum was not a traveller. And she didn't want to. My dad, when my mum and dad divorced, my dad took himself off to all these different places. And, like I said, he liked the Greek islands, he liked India. So he did have a holiday or two a year, and my mum just stopped going on holiday. Then she didn't have any more holidays after we grew up. So, but yeah, I go back to Dungeness. So I try to get down there at least once a year, and I do like to go around about New Year's time, not New Year's Eve or anything, but that time between Christmas and New Year when you're stuffed full of crap and you just need your cobwebs blown, and we drive down. Andy hires a car, and we drive down, and we spend the day. We'll go to Hastings and stuff like that, and then we'll go to Dungeness, and it just that feeling of having the freezing cold sea air. Even if you're only out of the car for like 5 minutes, but it's really nice feeling down there. It's got a unique atmosphere, really nice, and nice cold air because it's like it's the most southeasterly point of the British Isles. And then there's a place there called The Pilot that does really good fish and chips. Not very good coffees, but really good fish and chips. So you go and sit and eat in there really decent fish and chips, and then your ribs are nice and sticky for the journey back. Lovely.
I actually live in the most easterly part of Great Britain.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, at Lowestoft, my daughter's great aunt lives in Lowestoft. Oh, and actually, I think their dad's cousin lives there as well, because obviously, there's a Lowestoft connection, but I've never been there, so.
You're not missing much.
No, but it's somewhere that I haven't been that I'd like to go to. I feel so untravelled, I really do. For about 40 years, I always used to get Lowestoft and Laysdown mixed up. And they are relatively close to each other, but I know that they're completely separate places.
They're not relatively close to each other at all.
Relatively in the sense they're in roughly the same area.
They're in Europe,
Great Britain, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
They're nowhere near each other. Laysdown's on Sheppey, and
yeah.
And
then you go up the coast a bit, and you get to
down the coast. Sheppey's in the Thames estuary.
Yeah, and you go. Where's Suffolk?
Up.
Suffolk's up.
Yeah,
up by the wash.
So you go up the coast.
Oh, your geography's crap.
So
From Sheppey, you go upwards.
Upwards, yeah, you could
Upward.
say the same thing. So, no. And what's the fake? I'm sorry, Mark. What's the fake phone box? I'm obviously missing out on that one.
It's Pubstream.
Oh yes. Door. Dickhead. Yes, of course. The pub stream. Yeah, with a fake phone box. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
brilliant. That was one of the funniest streams there, where you trundled, or you unplugged everything, and you trundled
Yeah.
all the way up to the phone box and all the way back again, and you came back and plugged yourself in, and people were still going.
Yeah. People still thought. Well, we can't do it this weekend because on Sunday Mark's having sex, and I'm going out on Sunday. We're going out to Sheffield Gardens property, unless it's raining, of course. And it's looking at the weather forecast, it's due to rain Sunday. But then they said it's going to be raining here all day in London, and it hasn't rained at all. It hasn't rained at all where I am, and I'm desperate for it to rain because the humidity is right up there in the 80s. I've got no idea what's going on then. But come on, Mark, explain about your tattoos. I mean, you've heard, you know about this one, don't you? My tattoo there. You've heard about that one, haven't you? Why I've got it. That one is quite obvious because it's my nickname. But yeah, you haven't got any tattoos, have you, Tracey?
Not yet. I've got a piercing, but I haven't got any tats.
No,
I plan to, but I haven't got.
While I'm waiting for Mark to try and explain his tattoos, what are you saying? Not yet. Have you considered any?
Oh, I haven't considered what I want. I mean, I've looked, over the years, I've seen things. I thought, oh, that's nice. I'd like that, but then never really seriously gave it enough thought to go for it. I know things that I don't want because they're, like where people have these inspirational slogans. That just makes me want to vomit. I don't want inspirational slogans, and I don't want a man's name. And I don't want any name really. I think the most I would do is have my children's and my grandchildren's initials, or one initial, their first name initial.
Hang on. So what happens if you've got grandchildren called Charlie, Ursula, Natalie, and Thomas?
I would rearrange I would have it so that it was on like a vine or something.
Well, I'd like a punt with Charlie, Ursula, Natalie, and Thomas. Mr. Mad Mark says, on my arm, it looks like an alien head with Medusa tentacles. I didn't realise you knew my first wife, Mark. Found the design at a Bangkok street market tattoo place. You went to Bangkok and all you did was look at tattoos. I went to Bangkok and I couldn't wait to get the whatever their red light district is, putty, something like that. And I went there.
Okay.
Sorry?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
No, it's their red light district, and I actually went there, and we walked down. It's only a single street, apart from another place called Sweet Cowboy, but it's only a little single street, and we walked down there, and me and the missus, because we're quite forward thinking and like exploring. I felt very uncomfortable because I really couldn't tell the age of a lot of the girls that were there, and they were quite Pat Pong. That's it, Pat Pong. He knew where I meant, Pat Pong. You know where I meant, Pat Pong. There was an open air cafe just around the corner from Pat Pong, a pop up street cafe that we ate in. Absolutely good. But we went down Pat Pong, and I couldn't tell the ages of the girls, so I felt a bit uncomfortable. I can't really tell the ages. It's jailbait, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
were they girls? This is the question you have to ask yourself.
Well, I wasn't going to put my hand up the skirt and find out.
No, exactly.
So it's because of the age thing. But we came out of Pat Pong and we turned right and we walked along the road there. There's a lot of street vendors there. And we turned right, walked along the road. And we found this pop-up cafe, and I forget what it's called now, but it was actually really nice. We had a really nice meal there. Yeah, what happens in Pat Pong stays in Pat Pong. Well. There's another famous bit of red light there called Soy Cowboy in Bangkok, which was actually quite fun. That was very much geared towards the LGBT. Yeah,
LGBTQ.
Yeah, geared towards that. That's fun. I don't mind that. That's fun. It's called Soy Cowboy. That was fun. That was fun. Yeah, the ping pong ball place. Do you know, for the life of me, I couldn't remember what it's called. We were in Bangkok 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
The ping pong ball
I forget what it's called.
Is
We
that
actually
where
stayed.
they fire ping pong balls from their nether regions?
Yeah, we stayed in Punawithi. If you were on the SkyTrain, we stayed at Punawithi, which was our
Punani
local
Whiffy.
SkyTrain.
There used to be a pub just up by Chelsea Bridge, I think it was, that used to have a show like that. The ping
Really?
pong lady, yeah. It was like they did lock-ins and stuff
Oh
like
my
that.
God.
Oh, this is going back to the 80s and yeah.
Fucking fireworks! Fireworks from your fanny! Oh God, no!
No, I remember being told.
Stick a banger up there. Sorry,
That's
I'm
excellent.
crying.
Oh, turn your sound off, Steve.
I'm crying.
Thank you. Well, otherwise we'll hear it.
I just imagine a sparkler from between her legs.
I knew a few people who went to see the ping pong lady when it was on in the 1980s, and she used to like baby oil them up by baby oiling her breasts and and then baby oiling everything like this, and then doing the ping pong trick. And I remember my ex, who was obviously my boyfriend at the time. I think I was about, oh God, I was young. I remember him coming back and his eyes were like deer caught in the headlights, and he was like, because his brother-in-law had taken him, and he was like, oh my God, yeah, that was amazing. Is that hard, Waniac said. What?
Is what hard? I'm looking down.
I'd pay $1 to see it.
No, it's not.
I think he was talking about pushing, but doing amazing
Ping pong balls.
Yeah. But he'd pay $1 to see it.
Not being female, I wouldn't know really, but
was confusing because she stuck something in there and nothing happened for a while, and then
Steve, you haven't put your mic back on.
Yes, I know I haven't got my mic back on. It's all right. I've got it back on now.
Can you all hear Steve now?
Right. Okay. Right. My beard is your right. My memory's gone. Lithuania is the capital. What? Oh.
Vilnius. It's the capital of Vilnius is the capital.
Vilnius. Sorry, it's a Lithuanian beer. Right. No, I didn't go for a poo, Mark. I actually went to go and. You can't say poo. You can't say poo. I meant to add that to the banned words. You can't say poo. Mickey paid 2,000 bits so that you can't say poo, and I forgot to add it to the banned words. Sorry, Mickey.
You can say shit, but you can't say poo.
Okay? Yeah, you can't say poo because Mickey paid to not say poo. No, I forgot to turn my mic on because I actually went out to get a beer. It comes from Lithuania, Vilnius, Lithuania. It's a Lithuanian beer. And it's quite nice, and that's all I can tell you about it because everything in here is Lithuanian, but it is quite a nice beer. So there we go.
I'm laughing so much about these fireworks. It was Mad Mark first saying was confusing because she stuck something in there and nothing happened for a while, then bang. And I just had this vision of like the whole room kind of like going, well, is the show over? And then bang. And then Mad Mark thought you'd lost your voice over the fireworks.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I only know Vilnius is the capital of Lithuania because I've got friends who live there. Who used to work in the same print factory.
Well, we know that's a lie.
Yeah.
You work in a print factory as well?
No, Tracey. He said he had friends. No, that's a lie.
Yes, I did work in a print factory 9 years. That's what I've just retired from.
Oh, I thought you retired from HGV.
No, I did that prior to my. I got made redundant as an HGV driver, and I got offered.
Isn't that weird that we've got print and printing in common? I worked at. I was before the actual printing process, so basically I was the proofreader.
Yeah.
The graphic. Well, I didn't do graphic design, but I worked in a graphic designers doing proofreading and marketing for them and everything. So that's so weird how all three of us have had that. So.
Yeah.
And
But
now
we
I'm going
print-
to the loo.
We printed the stuff like Harry Potter and that. We did all those books, and
Oh.
we do a lot of. Yeah.
I actually think, Mad Mark, this might actually be the beer. I'll hold it up to my camera, see if you can actually. I don't speak Lithuanian, but underneath Utenos, is that the word that you just said? There we go.
It is, yes.
It is the same beer, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like it's Savicius or something.
Yeah. Is that the same beer? Just reading that. Just reading that. So, is that the same beer? Just checking. Anyway, Mickey. No, it's not the same beer, right? See, Lithuanian is a strange language. I don't understand. It's very close. So
It's very close to Russian. There's a lot of Russian people living in Lithuania.
yeah. Well, a lot of Lithuanians live there as well, I believe.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
No, my mate who comes round on Tuesday brought it round, and it's actually quite a nice beer, and I do prefer. Oh, pardon me. I do prefer the Eastern European lagers, because they were making it a long time before Britain started making lagers, and they're very good at it. So they're probably the best lager makers in the world. Wayniak there says he normally drinks domestic. In this country, domestic is a bleach. Oh no, that's Domestos. Sorry, mummy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if he's talking about
Coors and Budweiser.
He's talking about American beer. He's talking about water, isn't he? Really?
Yeah, flavoured water. Yeah, I'm sorry, but American beer, Wayniak. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be disingenuous, but American beer is really is flavoured water, isn't it, Mickey?
It is. Yeah.
It is.
Sweet.
I've been out to America, and I'm actually surprised you have alcoholic. I'm actually surprised you have alcoholics in America that drink beer. So it's not. Is that Sam Adams the people that produce a beer called Ghost Ship? No, not Ghost Ship. Oh, I know the brewery you mean. Actually. But yeah, no, I've never tried it. I'm not going to go out to America. I'm not going to go out to America again. That's not how you spell tire, by the way. That's only how you spell tire in America. The rest of the world, right? The rest of the world spells tire correctly. This is how you spell tire. Right? It's only the Americans that spell it incorrectly. I don't understand why. Yeah, you're right, Mark. I am thinking of Adnams with Ghost Ship. No, I'm thinking of a brewery it's an American brewery. They make a New England IPA, and I can't think. It's got a picture of a ship on the front, and I can't remember what it was called. This Alzheimer's getting to me. My brain's completely gone. Can't believe you don't spell words correctly. The rest of the world spells it tire, right? The way you spell tire means, yeah. You also say. They also say aluminum correctly. Aluminum? What the fuck is aluminum? It's aluminium, isn't it, Mickey?
Yes, aluminium.
Aluminium. You know,
when
I first
heard Adnams that do Ghost Ship, they brew it about 8 miles from where I live.
Oh right, okay. When I first heard an American talking about aluminum siding, I thought, what are they on about?
Well, aluminum. I mean,
yeah,
sounds like they're turning the lights on, doesn't it? For illumination. Yeah,
aluminum. It does. It sounds like you're turning a light on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does. Sounds like you're turning a light on. I'll aluminum this room. I'll illuminate
this room. Yeah.
It's aluminium. Right? Okay. The world's greatest. Right. We can settle this out. Right. We can settle this right now. The world's greatest producer of bauxite. Bauxite is the mineral that aluminium comes from. Is Australia. Right? And they call it aluminium. Therefore, you're wrong. Do we agree on that, people? They also say tomato wrong as well. They call it a tomato. Oh, what's a tomato?
Bit like a potato, but red.
They're awesome metric imperial system, right? They say, oh, our petrol's so cheap, right? Because we only pay this for a gallon. You've only got 6 pints to the gallon. The rest of the world has 8 pints to the gallon.
Exactly. You've got imperial gallons, you've got American gallons, not the same thing. And I always thought that America wanted things bigger, but they make a gallon smaller.
It's like, you know, And here's right. And here's the crazy logic, right? That's not your lights you're rubbing, Mark. That's not your lights you're rubbing. Here's the crazy logic, right, Mickey? A gallon in America is 6 pints, right?
Yeah.
A quart is 2 pints.
Yeah. So
It's
4
a third.
quarts is, so you're better off buying 4 quarts than a gallon, really?
Yeah, exactly. Well, 4 quarts adds up to 8 pints. So how does that work in America that a gallon is 6 pints and a quart is 2 pints? Because quart stands for quarter of a gallon. That's just craziness. That's just craziness. It's craziness. Yeah, Mark, it wasn't your lights you were rubbing, man. I'll tell you this now. It wasn't your lights.
I'll tell you what. You'll have
And
to.
if he's rubbing them for 2 hours, he's a better man than I am.
At your age, Mickey, I would have thought 8 hours to get any sort of result.
Well, yeah, that's to even get a Twitch, mate. Oh, we're on Twitch, aren't we?
Yeah, we're on Twitch, yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, but I saw this light, and it's been on Facebook and it's been on Twitch. You know, adverts, and it literally is an uncircumcised light, and you attach it to the wall, and it's at that type of angle, and it's got this. It's like a light bulb, and then it's got this cover that's pink. And
you bend over and reverse onto it.
Listen. To turn it off, you roll the foreskin up, and it turns off. And to turn it on, you roll it down, and it turns on. And everybody...
Yours has been going on and off all night, has it?
The comments, you know, of the people have put going, that is not a light, that is a sex toy. I've
seen it for sale on Love Honey.
But the thing is, it doesn't look like a penis. It's just the fact that you have to roll it up to turn it on and turn it off and roll it down to turn it on. And everybody's like, that's not a light. And
Jewish men will never understand that.
No. A lot of Americans won't either.
Americans don't understand. You've got to explain everything to them. I mean, I remember, right, a lot of Americans think, what do I think about America getting independence from Great Britain? And I think it's absolutely wonderful. And I look at them now in the same way that I would look at my child when they've just taken the stabilizers off of their bike. That's how I look at Americans.
But I celebrate the 4th of July as well, you know.
Yeah, we all do, Mickey. For
the
the
fact
same
we got
bloody...
rid of the buggers.
Yeah.
Right? They're just like cantankerous little children, aren't they?
Mr. Mad Marcus had a Red Bull.
That's diabolical.
In case Red Bull is something different in America, he's not had sex with a male cow. He's had a drink. It's a high energy drink. Did you have anything with it, Mark, or like a vodka? Because it's normally Red Bull and vodka, isn't it? That's the thing
one brings you up, one brings you down, so you stay the same.
I can't drink those high energy drinks due to my blood pressure.
I can't.
That just sends my blood pressure straight through the roof. When I started night, somebody advised me to drink one. I took one. Never again.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's the fact that there's so much caffeine in it and so much sugar.
Sugar and caffeine.
Yeah, and then the ones that are sugar-free are just absolutely full of artificial crap to make it sweet.
Aspartame or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had a donkey with it. He'd had a Red Bull with a donkey.
I'm not that down with the youngsters, so I'm not going to go there. I mean, nobody got my 12-inch penis joke yesterday, so I'm not going to go there with the donkey because it's probably going to lead me down a rabbit hole I don't want to go down.
Yeah, and donkeys can't fit down rabbit holes, so
no,
it's too big.
You don't want to go down that hole because apparently my jokes are rubbish. Apparently,
almost as good as mine, aren't they?
Do you want to hear a joke? Do you want to hear a joke that you've got to be intelligent to get?
Go on.
Well, what's the point in telling me?
No, I don't think you're young, Mark, because you were talking about going to Bangkok 22 years ago. And realistically, if you got tattoos 20 years ago, that makes you 18 minimum when you're at Bangkok. That makes you 40 minimum. So I don't think you're young. Oh, But you compare to me, I'm 62, so everybody's young compared to me. So I don't think you're young, Mark. But anyway, sorry. Did you want to hear a joke, Tracy?
Yeah, but can I just ask a question before you tell the joke? Because while I remember it, because I have got this vague memory, which may be a false memory. Do you have, or have you ever had, a pierced nipple?
I've never had a pierced nipple, no.
Where did that memory come from then? I am sure that you've shown us a pierced nipple before.
No, I've never had a piercing. I've got no piercings at all.
That is definitely a false memory then. I don't know who.
Well, obviously, if I've got none.
I don't know who I'm remembering then. There you go.
Well, it's not me. I mean,
It wasn't me.
No.
Obviously, my nipples aren't very memorable. No, I've got no piercings at all. Even pierced ears.
No, Steve, it's the opposite. They're that memorable that I'm attributing them to something that isn't even in there.
No, I've not got pierced nipples. I've actually only ever been with one woman that's got pierced nipples. She had rings, and they were great to pull. But that was many years ago. Her name was Sue.
We're back into doubles.
Yeah.
Bye.
Oh, we're back into doubles. Yay, yay. Right, this joke, anyway.
Yes.
This city gent goes into a bar and walks up to the barman and says, the bar lady says, I'd like a gin and tonic. So the woman gets him his gin from the optic and puts it on the counter, goes to the fridge to get the tonic, and she bends down. She's got short skirts, she bends down, and she gets the fridge, and as she's bending down, the guy leans over the counter and says, leans over the bar and says, I'd like to tickle your bum with. And she turns around and she says, you what? And he said, oh, it's lovely weather. And she said nothing about that. So about half an hour later, the bloke walks up to the bar again. Now, this is a little drunk bloke in the watching it, figuring a bit. This bloke walks up to the bar again, to the barmaid, and says, gin and tonic, please, dear. Gets him the gin. Goes to the fridge, bends down to get him the tonic. He leans over the bar and he says, I'd like with a feather. He turns around and says, you what? He said, lovely weather. Drunk at the table there's laughing his head off, isn't he? About half an hour later, city gent goes up to the bar again, and different barmaid and says, and the barmaid gets him his gin, bends over to get him his, leans over the bar and he said, I'd like one with a feather. And the barmaid turns and says, you what? And he said, it's lovely weather. The drunk is rolling about on the floor in laughter. He eventually picks himself up and he staggers over to the bar and he says to the barman, he says, could I have a vodka and lime, please? And the barman says, yeah, no problem, gets in the vodka, bends down to get him the lime. And he says, drunk flops over the bar and says, I'd like to stick my finger up your. And the barman turns around and says, you what? And the drunk says, it's pissing down outside. Sorry.
Oh dear.
My sister is always asking me, what food do you take on a picnic? And I always draw a blank. So if you were going on a picnic, what would you take? Besides sandwiches?
Cheese and ham. Not cheese and ham. Ham and cheese in the same sandwich.
Cheese and pickle, or cheese and tomato, or a ham and mustard. But I do like a bit of mashed up egg with salad cream in it. The only thing is that makes the bread a bit soggy if you're going to leave it all day.
So if not the
pork pies,
sandwiches, yeah, that's it. So what other bits of picks? Pork pies.
Yeah, I like pork. Yeah, the miniature. Well, I prefer the big pork pies because they taste a lot better than them little mini things. But quite often we'll take a bit of quiche Lorraine, because we're posh, you see.
Scotch eggs and milk Mowbray pork pies.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and then you can get those little. They're like little chicken bites covered in breadcrumbs.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And cocktail sausages.
Little cocktail sausages, as Steve says. Yeah, there's loads you can take. I don't take any like cold desserts or anything because you can always buy an ice cream and that way out or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But basically, that's it. That's all we do.
Yeah.
I've actually got. I
Right,
bought my wife
just to
picnic
change the subject
hamper
slightly.
I'm
12 years
sorry.
ago.
Let Mickey just finish. I just want to hear this bit about Mickey. What's
Sorry,
it?
I bought my wife a picnic hamper. It's about 12 years ago. It's got 2 plates, 2 nice forks, wine glasses, and all that. We've never used it.
You might be inspired to now that we've had this conversation.
She keeps saying to me when we go for a picnic, I said, I really don't want to sit on a blanket on a fucking beach getting the sand in me, or in a park surrounded by screaming kids,
Yeah.
No.
I've got a 12-volt cool box.
Full stop.
I've got a 12-bit cool box.
I just wanted to ask, what is the point of so much Tory leadership coverage contest when we can't vote or decide the outcome?
Oh, that's serious.
I mean,
That's seriously political.
No, I don't want it to be political. It's actually about the media. It's about the TV. Why have we got so much coverage of it when we can't influence the outcome? It's just there's been, it's all very well having debates and stuff when there's elections, but when it comes to the actual, a leadership contest, pretty much it's not even half the population, because that's not the way that the voting system works.
What you were just talking about, Tracey, all this leadership thing, I think it's just to show us what a stupid pair of nutcases they're actually trying to put in the lead into the prime ministership. Oh my God, yeah.
It's just like at the moment on TV, what we've got is sport, and then leadership contest, and it's just like, I'm not interested in either. So we've been streaming now for 4 hours, and we've had conversations about what's been in the news. What do you find in your picnic basket?
Firing pinballs from your fanny.
It's been a good topic tonight. Say that.
I said firing ping-pong balls from your fanny.
Yeah, we've been talking about Thailand.
I just found that so amusing. Sorry.
Oh, that was one of the highlights of tonight. That was when Mad Mark said there was a pause and I didn't know what was going on, and then boom. Oh, that was my highlight.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. But yeah, so as you can see, we've been talking about so much. We get through topics.
Nice.
And
What sort of bike have you bought, Matt?
we were talking about motorbikes earlier.
Steve had one for years and years. I used to work in a bike shop many years ago. So what sort of bike have you got then, mate?
You've come on into the stream that we were actually discussing motorbikes, because Mickey, you used to work in a motorbike
I did
shop
many years ago. Oh, little Lex Moto. They're actually quite nice. Some of the modern ones are really good. There's actually a dealer around here that actually sells a lot of them. Some of the little 125s now look like a huge 600. Some of the size of those Lex Motos now. Yeah. But yeah, you'll have to let us know when you get it done. Unfortunately, you can't send pictures on here, can you? Although I'd like to see a picture of it. But...
No, but if he finds it, well, you've come over from Reddit, haven't you? So a lot of Steve's socials and links and that will be on there. So if you send Steve a photograph, then we can actually, or he can get it up on screen when you
absolutely
pop on in, and we can talk about it. So Matt says, yeah, this one's a decent size for a 125, wide enough to be comfy. I slim bikes look all sexy and all that jazz, but they're not comfortable. You need something that your bum can fit on and be comfortable on for journeys. And Matt also says, yeah, I'll try and do that now. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. If you find his socials, and then if you find his social, you don't have to send a picture now, but I think you said that you're going to fix it up. So So yeah, you could do like a before and after. Send it to Steve, and obviously identify
Hey,
yourself
look,
because
I'm just having a look at a picture of one now on Google there. They look very retro 80s, early 90s. They look all really nice with the old twin shocks on them. And all. Sorry, it just piqued my. Obviously, they got modern wheels and modern lights and stuff on that. But yeah,
that's good. A lot of things are going retro look now.
Yeah.
Sorry, what Matt said I've always preferred the look of big fat bikes over sporty, and I actually read that as I've always preferred the look of big fat blokes on sporty.
Okay, that's a worry. That's a worry.
Well, I'm misreading. It's 12 o'clock at night, and I've started. I think I need to change my glasses. They've lasted me long. But yes, that sounds good. Sounds nice. So
that's cool to get into fixing your own stuff. I think that's really you learn a lot more about them. But that certainly looks like an old 80s, 90s Chinese copy of a Japanese engine, if that makes any sense at all. But yeah, super air cooled.
yeah, that's one thing. Oh, that's going back probably like 30 years. And I said to my fella at the time that I'd be quite interested because I hadn't worked for a while because of having kids, and I said to my fella at the time that I'd be interested in perhaps like becoming a motor mechanic, and he laughed, and I was like, well, what's the problem with that? He said, oh, no one wants a woman whose hands are covered in grease and stuff and broken nails. And I was like,
I love a woman whose hands were covered in grease.
Yeah, and me.
Fine.
But yeah, just saying. But he's talking about black grease, obviously. I was put right off it. And the thing is, what appeals to me about, taking engines apart and putting them back together again is because I've always loved Lego. I've always loved jigsaws. I've always loved putting things together. I'm a bit sort of geeky like that, and I think I'd have been really good. But he totally put me off. So maybe I'll do that myself one day.
If you like Lego, you'll be able to build a computer, Tracey, because that's all they are now. Is just slotting things together.
Yeah. That's to be honest,
I love building computers. Okay, I say I love building. I've only built 3, but I just love it. Picking out the parts and make sure that everything works with each other, and then I built the one I'm using now. I built my son one, and my grandson's got one as well. So.
Yeah, I have had my computer that I'm using now. I got built by a company. It was custom built, but I had to pick all the pieces.
And then you had somebody put them together. But you're quite capable of putting them together yourself.
Yeah, my brother does this sort of thing for a living. He's sort of like top level troubleshooter.
Yeah.
Like he has to recreate the problem and then work out how the problem, and he puts all his own stuff together and everything like that. The thing that puts me off about doing the computers is I must be living in London. It's so dusty here. It's so dusty. It's terrible. And I don't want my build to be dusty before I've even started using it. And honestly, I'll take it out of the packet, like a piece, a component out of the packet, and the dust will go.
Yeah.
And that's it.